Hi everyone, here at Butchering Sports Talk. It's Jorge, and I'm being joined today by my buddy Dan via the FaceTime-shaped object. How you doing, Dan?
Good, brother. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. We're going to be talking a little bit more different from our basketball talk that we've done for a couple of segments. We're going to be going with some WWE today. As some of you may know, Extreme Rules happened last night. It was a quite the pay-per-view. As one of the smaller quote-unquote pay-per-views that the WWE promotes over the course of the year, it's not usually billed as high. Usually you don't expect as much out of these pay-per-views, but I have to say I came away overall impressed. There were some matches that were very, very good. There were some matches that were, they could have done better. But overall it was decent. I thought the first match that they had for the Intercontinental title, you had Dean Ambrose versus The Miz, basically carrying over a program that they have been doing since SmackDown Live. Just a really, really nice budding rivalry. Really happy that they gave him plenty of time to showcase their story. A little bit odd when it came to some of the reffing decisions. There was a lot of stoppage in terms of disqualification. Obviously, with a lot of those matches, usually when a wrestler gets disqualified, the ref immediately just signals for the bell, and that's it. But in this one, I guess, kind of to highlight some more of the disqualification aspect, and that if that happened, Dean Ambrose would lose his title. They kind of stretched it out a little bit more, but overall, I didn't feel like it really hindered that much of the story. That bit at the end with The Miz getting Maurice to slap him in front of the referee and trying to pass that off as something that Dean Ambrose told her to do, like that was just some brilliant piece of storytelling that really put the match overall as a good place to start the pay-per-view. What do you think, Dan?
I agree completely. Yeah, those two, Dean Ambrose are two very good, obviously in-ring wrestlers. They can carry a storyline for sure. I personally didn't really like in an Extreme Rules match there being a disqualification match. But in saying that, those are two guys though that I've respected in the industry, and that's pretty much my feeling on that. Like I said, I in general don't like, when I look at Extreme Rules, I think of ECW. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure you're probably the same way. You know what I mean? And,
Absolutely.
So to me, the match with the tag match with the Hardys and Sheamus and Cesaro, I thought was a very good match. I personally think that was a good move, letting the title switch hands. It just adds more to the story, obviously, because of the whole push of this is your last chance, you're not getting another chance again. I think that they knew that they have some gold there. Obviously, the Hardys have a huge following, and Sheamus and Cesaro are able to carry belts, obviously, and put a show on too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Cesaro and Sheamus had a great match against the Hardys. It was I agree, a very, very important piece of storytelling to just get the titles onto them. With the move of the New Day heading over to SmackDown, the Raw tag team division took a bit of a hit, just because right now you have teams like Gallows and Anderson not doing anything. Enzo and Kaz are kind of involved in this storyline involving the general manager of Raw, possibly. We'll see. And really none of the other teams that are in that division. I mean, the Revival, I guess, they're still on recovery mode until one of them gets their jaws unlocked from that surgery they just had. But because of that, really the tag division comes down to the Hardys versus Sheamus and Cesaro, and moving the titles onto the other team really lets them have a slightly longer, prolonged feud that can hopefully sustain the division long enough for some of the other teams to come back and really kind of stabilize the rest of what the card looks like. On one side, while there are positives, there also are negatives that came out of this pay-per-view. Rich Swann, Noam Dar, Alicia Fox, and Sasha Banks had a mixed tag match that was basically whelming, I should say. I mean, it happened. It was part of the card, and I was nonplussed by it. I think I actually took my my bathroom break at that point. Honestly, it just.
Like you said, that's when it allows the people in the actual arena go ahead and get your concessions during that match.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beyond that, they're wrong. They have to have the time to make their concession money. That's the kind of match they have to allow the people at home to either use the restroom, get your beverages, cold beverages ready for the main events, and and the people at the actual arena to go ahead and do what you got to do, because that was very underwhelming. Very.
Yeah, more so the part that concerned me was what ended up being the women's title match, the kendo stick on a pole, however long and no acronym for it match that they decided to do, because
Right.
Bayley is a character that they have invested a lot in. It's a character that connects with the fans. Kids love her, women love her, men love her, everyone loves her. She's just an all-around awesome human being. But we're talking about a wrestler who's super passionate about what she does and is willing to go the distance to make sure that she can get her hands on her title belt. I mean, we've seen her do all kinds of insane spots, even a couple of the ones that she used to do with Sasha Banks and Asuka at the developmental level at NXT. And yet I am supposed to believe that this woman who has gone through everyone and everything in an attempt to get her title is suddenly afraid of a wooden stick, not so much of it as much as using it, and that somehow became her downfall. Basically, we ended up with, once the kendo stick became part of the match, it was a one-sided affair, really. Alexa Bliss just kind of took over, did her thing, and won the match fair and square super easily. And it's a little bit concerning. I do wonder where the Bayley character goes now, is if she's shown to be, a scaredy cat from a kendo stick. It's just not a good position to be in,
And I agree with that. And it's funny that you mentioned that. And I don't know, I'm a nut. I watched the pre-show and of course the show itself. They basically, during the pre-show of the Extreme Rules last night, they kind of alluded to Bayley not being able to use a kendo stick. I mean, it was almost like they foreshadowed what was going to happen later on that evening. You know what I mean? They alluded to it. They said, it's not her. That's not in her. You know what I mean? You got, like you said, and you're 100% right. She came through the ranks. I remember watching her in NXT, and the following for her is incredible. For a women's wrestler, it's astounding, really, when you think about it. There's really nobody that doesn't like her.
Yeah.
And to portray her as somebody that couldn't use the kendo stick, which I'm sure Sandman made a staple in the wrestling world. In extreme wrestling, the kendo stick is like a golden weapon. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you have somebody that everybody wants to see do it, and like you said, you're 100% right. She was damn near scared of doing it, and she was dominated once that came into the picture. Okay, and moving on from the Bayley kendo stick match, another match that I found very good was the Austin Aries Neville match. What were your thoughts on that match? Oh
yeah, that match was fantastic. I mean, it's really amazing to see what a difference a year makes, right? When the cruiserweights were first introduced onto the scene as a division of the Raw brand, there wasn't really much to it, not much story being developed. It was kind of just, hey, look at us go, we can do crazy maneuvers and spots off the top rope, and that's it. But really, the division really started to turn a corner ever since Neville came back and won the title at this year's Royal Rumble, and then Austin Aries showing up by the time that WrestleMania rolled around. And really, the match really put the division on the map as not just we're high flyers. It really showed, hey, as far as a weight class is concerned, I think the cutoff is the 205 pounds or lighter. We are just the best wrestlers in that category. I mean, for a bunch of known high flyers, we're looking here at two guys that were able to go ground pound, just kind of go more methodical, try to have a more logical-oriented approach to the match, and really all the spots looked well executed, very crisp. I mean, technique level was at an all-time high. Like, these two guys, they know how to work, and they put on a hell of a show. They really did.
I couldn't agree more. It's actually my favorite thing to watch at this time in wrestling is the cruiserweight. I think that the athleticism from these guys is off the charts. They can give you everything. They can give you the power game. They can give you the speed game. They can give you just the pure wrestling side of it. There's nothing these guys can't do, especially these two individuals. All in all, obviously kudos to Triple H for coming up with this division and basically pumping it up and finding these two, I mean, along with others, of course, in the Cruiserweight division, but these two, namely, are going to be stars for a long time to come, barring some significant injury, obviously. But
yeah,
they are both very, very entertaining. They keep you engaged, and like you said, they hit everything they need to hit. I mean, there's very, very rarely in that match last night that I can remember any missteps, any anything you look at and say, oh, this was a fail or anything. I mean, they were pretty much on point, and you'd expect that though out of athletes. You know what I mean? Athletes putting on a show, and they definitely were very entertaining last night. I would say that was probably, honestly, I'm biased on it because I do like that division more than any. I think that was probably the best match, all in all. And the main event, what are your feelings on the main event? I mean, I don't know if we want to give away who won. I mean, obviously, we can say that.
I suppose we can. I mean, for me, honestly, I thought that Austin Aries and Neville was going to be my match of the night, and then the main event happened. It was a really, really good main event. Really, the biggest concern when you have something like a Fatal 5-Way is that everyone should have their own time to shine. And will everyone get enough time to do all their spots, showcase themselves as a legitimate contender for Brock Lesnar's Universal title? And ultimately, I think the right call was made with spoiler alert, Samoa Joe winning his match.
I agree.
Rumors are being thrown around all over the web that ultimately whoever won the match was not going to enter into a prolonged program with Brock Lesnar, just because he already apparently has another scheduled opponent for SummerSlam. We'll find out if that ends up being the case or not. But for the most part, if you're going to tell me that out of those 5 wrestlers, he was going to get a one-off match at the next pay-per-view, I'm very much okay with it being Samoa Joe. Rollins and Reigns obviously can hold programs on their own, so they don't really need it. I'm a little concerned for Finn Balor, simply because as of right now, there really isn't that much of a direction that he can take. I suppose maybe he can extend into a bit of a short program with Joe heading into Joe's match with Brock Lesnar, but and even Bray Wyatt got his a good time to shine. I mean, talk about a character that's been beat up in terms of coming up short time and again matches. And while yes, he ended up taking the loss along with the other 4 competitors, he didn't look bad while doing so. He definitely looked like the guy that resembled the WWE champion that we had back in February,
Yeah, I honestly, I agree with what you said completely. I love seeing Mojo got the bump in this, and completely agree that Roman Reigns. Yep.
Go.
I completely agree with the Roman Reigns being basically, obviously, he established on top of established, but in the Samoa Joe thing, him getting the bump was, I'm glad to see that. My opinion on it is Samoa Joe, Lesnar is what the majority of hardcore fans are loving to see or dying to see that match. He's obviously another guy from NXT. You can see that the push is beyond real for Triple H to get NXT love. And all in all, I thought that was a very good match. Like you alluded to, having 5 stars in the ring at once to get each one of them enough time to shine is a difficult thing to do. And I think all in all, they found a way to make it work. I think Bray Wyatt, just him alone jumps off the screen at you. I mean, obviously he has, everything about Bray Wyatt is something that a wrestling fan loves.
Yeah.
He has, and like you said, he's had difficult losses. He's had losses, and he's like he's the bad guy. He's the corporate bad guy. I mean, he's cool with taking a loss. He just wants to be in the match. It seems like, he's cool with, I'll take the L, but I just want to be in that big match. I want to be a part of that match, and whatever outcome you give me, I'm cool with.
2-1 now.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt, being the consummate pro as a wrestler, is willing to take whatever is determined for him for that night. He's a wrestling fan's dream. He's willing to go out and fight anybody, anytime, any match, any type of match. And if on that night he's going to have to take an L, he's cool with it. He just wants to be in that match. He wants to be in it's not the main event. He wants to be on just the undercard of that main event. And but all in all, I think the pay-per-view, for a lower rung pay-per-view in reality for the WWE, I thought all in all it was a success, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it last night.
Well, since that wraps up really our coverage for Extreme Rules, we would like to leave you guys with just a bold prediction, if you will. Next time we'll be coming to you guys with a WWE-related review of sorts. 2 weeks from now, SmackDown is going to be hosting Money in the Bank, probably one of the most exciting matches that the WWE offers on any given year. So, Dan, the 6 wrestlers coming up for Money in the Bank. We got Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Who do you think walks away with the contract to challenge the WWE champion?
Personally, I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura get that. I don't know if he's going to get that push yet, but that is my by far favorite wrestler at this current time. But I got a feeling that it's going to be a Kevin Owens bump. But in my personal opinion, it should be Shinsuke getting that.
For me, as much as I agree, I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura walk away with that briefcase and have him become Mr. Money in the Bank. There's a lot. I think you can make some reasonable arguments for a good amount of these guys. Ultimately, I'm going to be going with a bit of a dark horse, just because I think they are trying to use SmackDown more as a building block for more main eventers down the road. I'm going to go a bit of a dark horse, and I will say that at the end of the day, Baron Corbin will be walking away with the briefcase and become Mr. Money in the Bank. So that should wrap it up for now. We look forward to that. We look forward to the first ever women's Money in the Bank match to see what happens there. It's all going to be all sorts of good stuff coming to you guys when we do our next review. Dan, thank you for being here. We totally loved having you.
Thank you. I very much appreciate joining you guys for this talk tonight.
Absolutely, man. So for Dan, I'm Jorge. This has been Butchering Sports Talk. Have a good night, guys.